Have you ever wondered what it's like to live where the wilderness rules and danger lurks behind every tree? Welcome to Australia's Northern Territory, the top end. This isn't your typical outback cliché. It's 6 times bigger than the UK, but with only a fraction of the people. Why? Well, aside from the relentless heat and wild storms, the local wildlife is practically a roster of Australia's most wanted. Saltwater crocodile? Anyone? Even so, life in Darwin, the territory's capital, breeds a certain toughness. People here learn young that swimming holes aren't for the faint of heart, and sometimes every muddy stretch or black river tells its own cautionary tale. Now, you might be thinking, how bad can it really be? Let me tell you. In the top end, locals assume that every body of water not marked for swimming may well hide a predator. That's not paranoia, it's survival. The Finniss River, for example, isn't just a river. It's a brackish, nearly opaque waterway notorious for harboring saltwater crocodiles. Think of it like the Amazon's piranha-infested currents, only with ancient reptiles instead of fish. So, why do people stay? For some, it's the thrill of the adventure. For others, it's home danger and all. This is the environment our story's 3 friends called their playground, setting the scene for a day that would become a real-life horror movie. Let's set the stage. December 21st, 2003. 3 lifelong friends, Brett, Sean, and Ashley, leave Darwin, seeking a day of quad biking and adrenaline. What could possibly go wrong with a quick rinse in the river to cap things off? But before we get to the darkness waiting in those waters, let's pause and reflect. Can familiarity with danger breed overconfidence? Would you let your guard down if you'd survived 1,000 close calls? Hold on to those questions, they'll be key as we move forward. Picture this. 3 friends, quad bikes loaded, tearing across the vast, muddy salt flats southwest of Darwin. Hours pass in laughter and muddy stunts. The salt flats open, flat, and seemingly harmless feel like the safest place around. But here's the catch. Even the most familiar playground can mask hidden dangers. Ever heard of risk normalization? It's a psychological term for when repeated exposure to danger makes us underestimate the risks. Like a rock climber who skips checking their harness after hundreds of safe climbs, these friends had swum in the Finniss River before. No crocodile, no mishap. Routine breeds confidence, and confidence can block out the voice that says, maybe today is different. Now, imagine being caked in mud, and someone says, let's rinse off in the river. Would your local knowledge override the warnings? For Brett, Sean, and Ashley, the answer was yes. After all, they'd done it before, why should today be any different? But here's where setup meets conflict. Recent rains had swollen the river, flooding the mangroves and blurring the lines between land and water. The trio, unfazed, stepped into the muddy black edges, seeking nothing more sinister than a quick wash. And that's the heart of this segment. Sometimes, our perceived safety is just an illusion, built on a foundation of luck and routine. It only takes one variable, a swollen river, a lurking crocodile to shatter it. So, ask yourself, when was the last time you ignored a risk because it never happened before? That's the illusion that sets the stage for tragedy. Let me take you into the heart of the nightmare. One misstep, Brett loses his grip and slides into the river's current. His friends leap in, not in panic, but in practiced camaraderie, confident in their swimming skills and the river's familiarity. But instantly, the river betrays them. The current, swollen by recent storms, is far stronger than before. In hydrology, that's called flash flood dynamics, when sudden rain turns a steady stream into a dangerous torrent. If you've ever seen a bathtub overflow, you know how quickly water finds new paths and power. Now you might be thinking, they're strong swimmers, can't they just get out? But even Olympic athletes struggle against unpredictable natural forces. Try swimming against a conveyor belt, and you'll get the idea. The friends are swept downstream, looking desperately for a clump of mangrove roots, a natural anchor, if you will. Without something solid to grab, escape is nearly impossible. They finally regroup, drifting together, scanning the riverbank for a way out. Suddenly, Ashley spots something moving in the water. Shouts erupt. Out! Find a tree! Panic surges. Sean scrambles up the nearest tree, hauls Ashley up, but Brett is gone, vanished. The safety net of routine is ripped away. The conflict is now fully upon them, not just lost in the current, but lost to something far older and more dangerous. And as they look down, their worst fears are realized: a gigantic saltwater crocodile surfaces, Brett lifeless in its jaws. Resolution? Not yet. The reality of the river's deadly secret is clear. In the top end, nature's apex predator is always ready, waiting for a single mistake. And for the two survivors, the nightmare is just beginning. Let's pause for a moment. Imagine being trapped in a tree, just feet above a prehistoric predator. The saltwater crocodile, Crocodilus porosus, isn't just big, it's the largest living reptile, capable of leaping from the water with terrifying speed. For Sean and Ashley, the tree is their only sanctuary. But it's a fragile barrier, just a few inches of bark and luck between life and a predator's jaws. Now, some of you might be thinking, can't they just wait it out? Let me tell you a story. Crocodiles are ambush predators. Like a submarine, they'll wait motionless for hours, sometimes days, until prey is vulnerable. This isn't patience in the human sense. It's a survival mechanism honed over millions of years. The teens cling to the tree all night. Think about it. Pitch blackness, torrential rain, thunder rumbling overhead. Every lightning flash reveals the crocodile below. Still there, still waiting. That's not just physical endurance, that's psychological torture. And then, disaster strikes again. Sean, attempting to climb higher, slips. Splash. He's in the water, scrambling desperately, heart pounding with the certainty that every second could be his last. He miraculously claws his way back up. The crocodile, moments later, returns to its post. What would you do? The human fight-or-flight response is in full effect, but neither is truly an option. Their only hope is to wait, and hope someone will find them before exhaustion or the rising river finishes what the crocodile started. This segment's lesson? Sometimes survival is about endurance, not action. Crocodiles have evolved for patience and explosive ambush. Humans for hope and ingenuity. Sometimes, the only way through a nightmare is to hang on literally for dawn. As dawn breaks, the crocodile still circles like a living shadow. The river, swollen even higher, threatens to erase the last barrier of safety. Then a distant voice, police, drawn by reports of the missing teens, approach through the mangroves. Hope flickers, but even rescue isn't simple here. A helicopter's rotor wash nearly blows Sean and Ashley from their branch's one wrong move, and the river claims them for good. Quick thinking prevails. The helicopter backs off, a rescue boat moves in, and at last, the boys are pulled to safety. Let me ask you, what does real trauma look like? It's not just physical wounds these survivors carry: acute stress disorder, a medical term for the shock and psychological scars that follow extreme events. Their friend is gone, their trust in nature shattered, and Brett's body is never recovered, the river and its predator erasing all trace. Now, you might wonder, did they ever go back? Most survivors of animal attacks experience avoidance behavior. They steer clear of places and memories linked to the trauma. PTSD, or post-traumatic stress disorder, can shadow even the strongest among us. So what's the resolution? For Sean and Ashley, it's survival, but at a heavy price. For the top end, the lesson is carved deeper. Nature's wilds are indifferent, and respect isn't optional, it's mandatory. Every year, new warnings are posted, new stories told. But still, the black rivers flow, and the crocodiles wait. As we close, ask yourself, what would you have done? And more importantly, what do you carry away from stories like this? Survival, in the wild or the everyday, is as much about humility and caution as it is about courage. Thanks for listening. And remember, respect the unknown wherever you find it.